Lights, camera, action. Let's start the show. Here's a little bit of wedding advice from me to help your love story unfold. Welcome back, lovebirds. This is your wedding series and I'm your content creator. As you know, I've gone to lots of weddings as a content creator, creating the photos, the videos, as well as live streaming weddings and events that have to do with the wedding. Everything from the proposal to the engagement party to the bachelorette to the, oh my goodness, you name it, like the rehearsal dinner, the bridal shower, wedding shower, dress shopping, all the goodies that happen are still extremely important. So having your content creator there by your side definitely is a help. And I did an entire video on this. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you go back and watch that video about your wedding series, your content creator. That's the title of that video. But we are talking about planning your wedding with some other bits and bubbles and some very specifics, okay? So I'm giving some wedding planning advice for free because I've gone to so many weddings. I've seen some things that could be done a little bit better and some things that have gone so great. And so I'm sharing these things that I've observed, I've seen, and that I feel like can be done better. And then I'm giving tips on how they can be done better. So we started with season 1 over here, but we did it in a different way. We started at age 14-year-old you. Yes, I know, nobody gets married at 14 years old. But that is where you can start planning your wedding and your marriage. So planning your wedding the right way, you're starting young, meaning that you're learning about finances, how to balance your finances, how to become a good wife, a good mother, how to become an amazing helpmate, how to become a good father, a good husband, head of your household, and also preparing for a house before you even get engaged. These things should be thought about, all of them, before you even get engaged, proposed to, or even have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You really should never even have a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's a courtship where you're dating in groups with mentor couples, people that you trust that are beyond their years, older than you, and they can instill some good wisdom and advice into you when it comes to relationships and what this is really about. So we talked about all that in season 1. If you're interested in how to plan your wedding the right way, starting that young, make sure that you go ahead and watch those videos. We did fast forward into the age in which you get engaged, which is different for everybody. That's in season 2. And now we are in season 4, episode 4, and we are talking about booking the rest of your venue vendors. So there are some specific ones that we'll be talking about today. By this point, by season 4, episode 4, you should have already picked out your photographer, booked them. They should have been very present at some of your wedding events thus far. For example, the proposal itself, more than likely you did have a professional photographer there or somebody there that you trusted to take some photos and videos for you, or you hired your content creator to do so. So also you should have your content creator booked by this point in the wedding planning. You also at this point have already had your engagement party. So if you had one, you more than likely did have a professional photographer there, maybe that same one. And then you also had your content creator there as well, capturing both video and photos, and then live streaming the event if you had family and friends that couldn't make it who you really wanted to be there. Now, the next place you may have had a content creator at, your content creator at, me, is going to be at your wedding gown shopping when you say yes to the dress, as well as your bridesmaids proposal brunch. So those are the events that have happened up until now. You will be getting ready for your bachelorette party, but that's not until a little bit later. And so you would love to have your content creator there as well, so that everyone can still live in the moment. That's the whole point of the content creator, is that everyone else isn't carrying around a cell phone trying to be a photographer. I'm your personal paparazzi, and I get to be the fly on the wall, and it's super exciting. And so that everyone else can enjoy the festivities, okay? So that is where we're at thus far with your vendors for the venue, thus far, you should have a photographer and you should have a content creator. Now, I say should very strongly, but you guys know this is your wedding. Do what you want to do, okay? You don't have to have a professional photographer. You don't have to have your content creator. This is up to you. You may go for a traditional professional videographer, and that's what we're talking about today. If you have chosen to have a professional videographer, make sure by this point you can book them, okay? Make sure they have your date available. It's important to book them early as well, but not as early as the photographer and the content creator. But it is important to still have them up there on the list. So that's why we're talking about that today. So go ahead, make sure that you have looked around. You guys know how to search for vendors by this point. We've talked about this in some other videos. If you've forgotten, please comment so that we can discuss it, and I can send you those videos if you don't remember them, okay? But I do suggest that you guys don't skip episodes. There's some information in there, and sometimes I drop some bonuses in there that have nothing to do with the title, okay? So I wouldn't skip episodes if I were you. Now, the other thing is, what else is just as important as a videographer? All of your caterers. We are going to talk some more about caterers in a later episode, but this is the time that, like, if you can, start booking your caterers. And you want to be asking them some really good questions along the way, like, you know, how much is this going to cost me per person? Because their price list is usually per person. So they're not doing a lot of family style meals unless you can find some companies that will give you some more discount based on making like bigger, you know, portions and people just kind of going in at it buffet style. But most companies are not doing that, okay? So we have, like I said, talked about vendors and things like that and how you can get some discounts. So like I said, be sure to go back and watch how to find your vendors video. The next one is going to be, so you're going to be looking at catering for food, dessert, as well as your beverages. So all of those things you will be looking for catering, trying to get them booked at this moment. Sometime within the, you know, like the next week or two, you want to try to do that. The next thing is going to be the decorator. I know that people have thought about having a day of coordinator, and we did do an entire video on the importance of a day of coordinator, that they are the ones that are decorating your venue for you. So if you haven't already booked a day of coordinator, I would say go ahead and do so. I did break down the differences in a full planner, wedding planner, a partial wedding planner, which is people that come out and they only like work with you part of the way of your wedding. It's towards the end, like 3 months out is when they start getting involved. And then they usually are also your day of coordinator if, you know, you guys have like decided that they're going to be a part of your wedding in that way. So you've now got your decorator figured out, and they're going to walk you through all the specifics on what they're going to be doing, as well as how much decor that you're still going to need for your venue or want for your venue. So this is the time that you're just, okay, looking at that task board. How many of you still have your task board? We created a task board, TASK board, back in season 2 to help keep you organized. There were things that are going to help keep you organized, like a notebook, okay, and a task board. Many people like to do stuff on spreadsheets. That's okay. If you want to go to digital route, go to digital route, but still call it a task board. This is going to help you check off things once you have booked them, and so that you can know what's left to still do. It's really good to have a checklist and to have an overall checklist, or be adding to it as you come, as things come to you, that you're figuring things out. And then you just check it off when it's completely completed, when it's done. So make sure that you're looking at your task board and keeping track of all of these things. So make sure you start booking all of this. Now, typically in every episode, we talk about the budget binder and who's paying for this. But I will say in this episode, we won't be talking about that just because this is part of the venue. And the venue, as far as wedding day and reception, so ceremony and reception, are being paid for traditionally by who? The parents of the bride. So we won't belabor that. We did talk about this is traditionally who pays for things. I don't know who's paying for your wedding. That's up to you guys to have some meetings and to think about. And hopefully you've already done that in the beginning when we talked about setting a budget. That was back in season 2 or the end of season 1. It was way back there. You guys know we've been doing videos like every day. So it's hard for me to remember every single one of them. But it was around season 2 at the beginning, or it was at the end of season 1. Okay. When we talked about the budget. So go back and look at that if you need some help with budget planning. But I did suggested that you do that at the very beginning, so there's no like confusion or curiosity if anyone's going to be helping you to pay for this wedding. Hopefully you started with season 1 and you were able to really start planning the right way, because it really starts preparing you for all of this the right way. I'm saying this because I don't know who might join just in season 4 and they've missed a lot. Okay. They have missed a lot. We are now at the budget. Just kidding. We are now at Be My Guest segment. We're now at the segment called Be My Guest. And this is where I get a chance to ask you to be on your wedding series podcast. Who would like to be on the show? Raise your hand. Okay, I can't see you. This is all online. Welcome to YouTube. But I can't see you raising your hand. You can put it in the comments if you want to raise your hand. But the better way to do is just to send me an email. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get the conversation started by email. And then I'm going to send you over some interview questions. And then I'm going to interview you podcast style. But this one is going to be on camera. So we're going to record it in a video call together, and then I'm going to share it right here on the platform, okay? Right here on your Wedding Series podcast, because other people need some help with planning weddings too. So who am I looking for in this episode? I'm looking for brides and grooms who have already booked all of their vendors for their venue, and how that went for them, how they feel like it went. Was it pretty smooth? Did you feel like people weren't returning your calls or your emails? Do you feel like things just like went, really great? Like maybe they went awesome. And so I want to hear from you. I want to also hear how you found your vendors if they weren't already available at the venue. Like, what did you do to like find them? Did you use my tips and guidance from the other video? Or was there some other way like you found them? So I want to hear about it, especially if they were like family and you just kind of like hired people like for no pay and were like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. You know what I mean? That could have happened too. So just let me know. I am super curious. And I'm sure that the audience is curious as well, because it helps them to plan their weddings better with more efficiency, especially when they don't have a ton of money to go through just the venues for everything, and they are doing the blank slate approach where you just have a venue and then you have to get all of your vendors yourself. So I hope that you're willing to share your stories. And the way that you get the conversation started is by sending me an email at yourcontentcreator@yahoo.com. And you guys know what I'm about to say. You guys know what time it is. You guys know what I'm about to say. That's the end of the episode. I will see you lovebirds in the next one. Bye, lovebirds.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras, I'll just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our breath. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life, it's all in our hands. From TikTok to Instagram, we're taking the lead. Content